I sank into it.
Hey everybody.
Felt my poor muscles relax and shut my eyes. I drifted off.
We're still listening to Inigo's story. What is a bath? Go on.
I had some very strange dreams. I saw the brothers caper and dance and fly about the room.
Those weren't
I
dreams.
saw Fergus in a pool of blood staring up at me, mouthing the words, "Run, Inigo, run!"
Really?
I saw a vast glass cage with a rough and scored ceiling.
Really?
I saw many things I have now forgotten. When I awoke, the room was spinning and bleary. I heard the deep, muffled voices. Then I saw what was next to me, and my heart froze.
What? What? Go on.
What I saw was the king of dragonflies.
Really?
The largest dragonfly imaginable. He was in a massive jar to my left, and he was spinning about in a frenzy.
Right.
That is when I realized I was in a jar of my own. I tried to call out, but no words came.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I looked down at my hands and saw that they were missing. I now seemed to have pincers.
They turned you into a mud crab?
I leapt to my feet in horror and bounced off the inside of the jar. Suddenly, I realized I was flying.
They turned you into a dragonfly? Go on.
I buzzed about for a bit, trying to get used to my new wings.
Right.
After a while, I had things under control.
Okay.
I realized that the handsome dragonfly in the jar next to mine was not so large after all. I had been made small, like him.
Wow.
I also saw that we were not alone. A number of other jars were in a row to my left, each holding an insect.
Right.
There were butterflies and glow bugs.
Right.
And moths too.
Wow.
My vision was blurred by the jar, but I could still make out four enormous figures at the far end of the now seemingly cavernous room.
Yeah, no kidding.
One of them pointed in my direction and laughed. The sound was booming and very scary. The individual approached, and I saw it was Mother.
Right, of course it was.
I heard a noise from my right, looked over, and saw that my dragonfly neighbor had fallen down dead with fright.
No. Oh no.
Indeed. My sadness was soon overwhelmed by fear, I am sorry to say. I was trapped, and I had no idea what this witch wanted with me.
Right.
Mother came right up to my jar and tapped an enormous grubby finger against the glass. Her toothless grin filled my view. She then picked up the dragonfly's jar, shook it, scowled, and slammed it back down.
Oh no.
She grabbed another jar, this time from my left, removed the lid and plucked out the moth inside.
Oh my goodness.
It feebly flapped between her fingers. She held it up to my jar, then forced the poor creature into her mouth. I heard the body crunch between her gums.
Right.
That is when I heard a voice inside my head.
Go on.
It said, "Pay attention. Go still and she will not eat you." Mother swallowed the moth and picked up my jar again. I let myself go limp and lay motionless. I seemed to be missing my eyelids.
Right.
So I was forced to watch as she first uncapped my jar, then reached inside. Her gigantic hand paused before it reached me, then withdrew.
Right.
"Stay still," said the voice in my head.
Is that Mr. Dragonfly?
It was hard, but I managed. Mother held my jar up and studied me. She shook me, then studied me again.
Trying to see if you're alive.
"Passed out," she said with a voice like an avalanche. "Scared him senseless." She put my jar down and turned away. "You'll have to get me more. I need to eat tonight." Another huge figure came into view. It was the eldest brother. "Mother," he said, "why do you have to frighten them so?"
Right.
"Because they taste better squirming and fearful. You know that." Her son sighed, woke his brothers, and left.
How weird. Identity confusion seems to feature strongly in your stories. These options are interesting. Of course, I just say go on.
Mother turned and made for her bed. That is when I heard the dragonfly yell in my head. Your jar! Hit the wall of your jar! Mother had placed me on the shelf with the base of my jar hanging over the edge.
Of course.
I leapt towards the glass, flapping my wings as fast as I could. I bounced back, then hit it again and again. My jar toppled off the shelf and smashed on the stone floor. Yes, cried the dragonfly. Lay still. She's coming back. So there I lay, surrounded by shattered glass, as Mother approached us a second time. I thought she was going to step on me, but instead she cursed and knelt down. I heard her joints creak. I'll have to get you a new jar. Or I could just eat you now. Not tasty, but tempting. I wanted to flap my wings. I wanted to fly and hide, but I did not. She picked me up. Her grimy face filled my view. She smiled and licked her lips. She opened her mouth.
Ooh! Gross! Go on! Go on!
As her mouth drew nearer, I started to flap my wings. I could not help it. I wanted to escape. Alas, she was too strong and I was too small.
Right.
Suddenly, there was a bonk noise, and
Bonk
Mother's
noise?
jaw went slack.
Oh.
Her muddy eyes rolled back, and she collapsed.
Okay. How?
I struggled out from under her hand and saw the dragonfly's jar rolling to a stop near a chair leg.
He saved your life?
Knocked her out, I yelled in my mind. Yes, he replied. I managed to tip my jar onto her head.
That's a heavy jar.
Thank you, I said. What is your name? He said, I cannot remember. I have been a dragonfly too long, but there is hope for you. He directed me to a nearby alchemy table and told me to nibble a bit of this and that. He had the antidote memorized.
How?
I
Why?
followed his instructions and soon I felt the worst pins and needles I have ever endured.
Right.
I passed out, and when I awoke, I was me again.
Sure.
I rushed over to the dragonfly and opened his jar, but he refused to fly out. I heard his voice in my head, but it was weaker, distant somehow.
You're bigger.
It is too late for me, he said. The antidote cannot fix me. I am more dragonfly than man now.
Oh.
Please, reseal my jar. It brings me comfort.
Sure. Why didn't Mr. Dragonfly's jar smash when it landed?
His fall to the floor was interrupted by the witch's head.
Oh, of course.
Mine was not.
Sure.
Also, his jar is far sturdier than any other I have seen.
Except for when we have Gary
I
in.
wondered if it is enchanted. Anyway, I did as I was asked, then placed him on a chair while I retrieved my clothes. I then went to the long table where I had eaten. This soup, said the insect I would later come to think of as Mr. Dragonfly. I turned and smiled at him. We were having the same idea.
What idea?
I carried the soup pot to where Mother lay, opened her mouth, and splashed some inside.
Oh!
It will take time. Free the others and leave, said Mr. Dragonfly. Why can I only hear you inside my head, I asked.
Right.
He told me that the other insects had been there far longer than him, and they had forgotten how to communicate with words long ago. I listened closely to a nearby butterfly. I could hear a faint weeping inside my head, nothing more.
Oh. Briefly being an insect gave you the power to understand them? Probably.
I opened all the jars, then turned to leave, and saw a fat moth with grey wings lumbering out of a pile of dirty clothes where Mother had been.
Really?
I scooped her up, sealed her in a jar, then hid her at the back of an ingredients cupboard. I could hear her hissing at me in my mind.
Awesome.
I turned to Mr.
Sure.
Dragonfly. Do you want to come with me? I asked. Yes, please, he replied. Let us go.
Let us go.
I grabbed his jar, unlocked the door, and opened it. I found myself face to face with the brothers.
And you kicked the crap out of them? Oh no!
No, indeed. Luckily, I had surprise on my side.
Yeah?
I drew my sword and ran at them.
Yep.
They were so surprised to see me, it took a moment for them to realize I was going for the exit, not them.
Oh, nice.
They shrank back as I rushed past, and soon I had reached the hidden door that led out to the city.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I pulled a rusty wall chain, and the opening appeared. But before I could get outside, the eldest brother jumped on my back and tore open my scars.
Ow!
I shook him off, making sure not to drop Mr. Dragonfly, then stumbled out into Windhelm.
Oh, okay.
I lost
That's where I
my
was
footing
confused.
And went to the ground. Roll, cried Mr. Dragonfly inside my mind. I did, and a mace came down, smashing a flagstone next to my head.
Oh, wow.
The brothers had followed me outside. They each had a weapon, and it was clear they wanted me dead.
Well, yeah, you turned their mother into a moth. Go on.
I regained my feet and brandished my sword at them. Back, I yelled. I will let you live if you walk away.
They didn't know who they were messing with.
Mother wouldn't turn you back, said the middle brother. What did you do to her? I cured her of her ugliness and put her somewhere safe, I replied. Townsfolk stopped to see what was happening. We were attracting a crowd. I turned to the onlookers and said, "These men held me against my will. Call the guard."
Yeah, right.
My words were met with stony avidity.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in
Then
Windhelm.
someone threw a bottle at me. The eldest brother shouted, "This filthy Khajiit broke into our home. He was looking for skooma money, no doubt."
Wow.
The crowd was getting nasty, and as another bottle smashed near my feet, I saw two guards at the back of the group turn and walk away. "Run," said Mr. Dragonfly inside my head. He did not have to tell me twice.
Right. Yeah, go on.
The youngest brother took a swipe
Bloody
at me with his sword.
Windhelm.
I leapt back, overturned the cart of cabbages, and fled.
Cabbages!
I
Always
sped
cabbages.
past the graveyard into the marketplace and glanced behind me. I had lost most of the crowd, but the brothers were still on my tail. I rushed through the main gate, out onto the bridge. I was exhausted, but while my legs had been running, Mr. Dragonfly's mind had come up with a plan.
Well, for being a
As the
dragonfly, he's
brother
still got his
stepped out
wits
of the
about him.
gate, panting and furious. I walked out onto the ledge to the left before the first stone arch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work.
I sheathed my sword and held out Mr. Dragonfly's jar. "Do you know who this is?" I shouted.
Oh, wow.
"I don't care. All those bugs look the same to me," replied the middle brother. "Stay there, you coward. You're a dead man." I waited until all three brothers stood near me at the edge. "Do you love your mother?" I asked. "Yes," sniffed the youngest. "Tell us where she is and we'll kill you quickly," said the eldest. "Here," I replied. Then I threw Mr. Dragonfly off the bridge.
Wow. Mr. Dragonfly was very brave.
Yes.
Speaking of brave.
I'm very proud of him. I think he may have used up the last of his courage in that moment, though.
Oh, I doubt that.
The brothers all yelled, "No!" and threw themselves over the edge, trying in vain to catch the jar. If I had carried out the plan 30 feet along the wall, they may have survived. But the icy water they landed in was very shallow. There was quite a mess.
Oh.
For a second, I was worried about Mr. Dragonfly. But then I spotted his jar bobbing in the bloody
Okay.
water.
Good. Whew.
I made my way
Obviously
down
he
to
survived.
the river and retrieved him. He thanked me, and I asked him again if he wouldn't rather be released. "No," he said. "I will stay in my jar and in your company if that is okay. I have already forgotten my past life, and even the meanings of these words I am saying are beginning to fade."
Oh.
I told him he could stay with me for as long as he wished, then asked what I should call him. "Mother scratched my initials on the lid of my jar," he said. "I no longer know what they mean."
What are the initials?
"They seem to say Mr. D," I replied. "Do you mind if I call you Mr. Dragonfly?" He said that was fine. He
okay.
then said that I would no doubt lose the ability to hear him soon. But so far that has not been the case.
Oh, good.
Ever since my transformation, I have been able to randomly pick up his thoughts. I can also sometimes understand horses, fleas, and dogs too.
Makes sense.
Their thoughts are alien and often do not contain words as we know them, but I can usually decipher the overall gist. Mr. Dragonfly's fear about losing his words has also not come to pass. I think our little conversations are good for his mind.
Good.
That is how Mr. Dragonfly and
Hey,
I
everybody.
met. It was a long story. I hope I did not bore you.
Of course not, no. So yeah, so that's the tail end of the story of the origin of Mr. Dragonfly. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, you may want to see the previous episode, because that just wraps it up here. So we're just sitting here having a good long talk with Inigo, because we haven't had that for a long time. No, of course not. I loved it.
I am glad you enjoyed it. Telling it was easier than living it, my friend.
I can imagine. Yeah, okay. So, let's see. Oh, is this still here?
That story is an important part of my history.
Ah.
I do not mind telling it again.
Oh, wow. He's got it all. You can hear it all over again. That's awesome. That is a great thing. Thank you for that. Yeah, we'll go through it another time.
Okay, maybe later.
Of course, sure. Or you can just tell me about it whenever you want to. Let's see. How are you doing, Inigo?
I am okay.
Good.
How is everything with you?
Well, I'm not a vampire anymore. We're halfway through the Dawn Guard series and got to where I want to go, and we're on our way to Solstheim next. So I guess I'm doing pretty good.
Glad to hear it. Let us talk of other things.
Of course. All right, well, at that point there, I think we'll call it a chunk. So thanks, everybody, for coming along and watching. Now that we've gotten through getting the Moth Priest back, and we've... Serana has left our company. She's over with the boat dock for when we want to go back and crawl into Castle Volcanar to get her mother. So we'll leave it at that point for now. And so at this point, what I'm going to do is a little bit of inventory cleanup like I usually do between episodes. So you don't have to watch every time I try to sell every little piece of jewelry that I own or improve armor or things like that. We'll see what I can do with the Isgrimor armor, or maybe there's something new I can create. I don't know. And then the next place we're going after that is... Well, I do need to make a small slide jaunt. Now that Inigo's talked about the bugs, I think I kind of have an idea of where there's a bunch located. Now I feel bad that they're in jars. So if you remember from Dragontooth Den, there's a bunch of insects in jars there. And where normally you'd have to collect them all from all over Skyrim, they're all in one place. So we may bring them along and just kind of see what we get. Oh, and it killed the conversation. So I think we'll grab them and then see what kind of comes along with that, which would be kind of cool. And then at that point, we'll go to Solstheim. So then we're off to that island, and this is where I have not seen a whole lot of it. I really haven't. So we will basically get as far as I normally get with Solstheim, which is... I don't even know if I've even finished a quest at Solstheim before. So maybe we'll do that. We'll poke around a little bit, and then we'll come back, and then we will continue with the rest of the main storyline up to where we rescue Esbern, and then go on to Skyhaven Temple, right? Yeah, because Cloudhaven Temple's in Cyrodiil, right? So this is Skyhaven Temple? I can't remember. But that's the next step. And then at that point, that's kind of the hinge pin there. So we will get to that point in the next chunk. So thank you so much for coming along. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a couple days off here, so hopefully I'll be able to get some more already pre-recorded, so you'll be able to see this. And again, we're on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. So if you are watching this, I'm sorry, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we'll try to keep it because I like having a video come out on Saturdays. So we'll try to keep that coming. And otherwise, within the other days during the week, I'm going to try and sprinkle in some other stuff here too. I just need to record some because I haven't had a chance to yet. So we will see those in the next few days. So you probably already see them coming through by now. And we'll keep rolling with the Skyrim. So again, thank you so much, everybody. You guys take it easy and have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.